Hello everyone and welcome to our new format Data Masters. My name is Chris from Value Ships and I have together with me
Daniel?
Wojtek?
from Nostre. And what is not Nostre? Let me give you a bit of a context at the very beginning. So on the one hand side, we see that many of our clients face some data challenges. It's not necessarily about gathering the data. Frequently they are sitting on the pile of data. Nevertheless, the challenges are in the other places. Why we are gathering the data, what data we are gathering, and how to build sustainable process of deriving business insights from the data. On the other hand, we see that the AI hype is real. Day after day, month after month, we see that AI will play more and more vital role not only in our lives but also in the business context. This is how the idea was born. Fortunately, Daniel and Wojtek had very similar idea, and what is even more fortunate, we are playing football together. Fast forward 6 months after the Nostre was born. Guys, what is Nostre? What do you think about this?
So Nostre is IT solutions and consulting company. We want to focus both on delivering solutions around data, but also we want to bring this consulting view to the companies because we really think that they need it. We want to wrap all the data initiatives around business value, about impact, about data strategy, and about planning and thinking about transforming an organization into being data driven than just creating solutions that can solve one or two problems.
So this is quite rare, right? Because under one umbrella, we want to focus both on business, then we want to focus on the data, and then after also we want to look at the data from the business lens. What make you equipped to do that?
So I think that we both come from consulting industry. We spent a couple of years there, and I think what consulting gives you is that drive towards giving the providing the business value to your customers. Because you need to focus these projects are focused on some specific goal, so you learn that you learn how to frame the problems, how to problem solve, how to structure the problems, and how to look at them from the perspective of really accomplishing the business impact to the client rather than doing something because you had a nice idea or something like that, right? So this was the start. It was a couple of years ago. We were both working at McKinsey, and we were working with really big clients, and we have seen what sort of data understanding, data infrastructure understanding, and what sort of problems are touching even this big Fortune 500 companies, right? So this was the time when I was business analyst, but I always had that technical inclination. So I started to study the data topics, infrastructure topics, the software development, data science topics, because this was also the time when these topics were quite popular. And the first kind of we've seen that the companies are trying to work with first proof of concept, because the consulting is saying that we know that in 10 years from now everyone will be AI driven, right? But in reality, they were kind of focusing on the wrong goals. They were starting from the most complex solutions, and they didn't have any fundamentals, right? So we spent a couple of years working in that area. Then I moved to the technical consulting, working with even more technical oriented projects and implementations, also related to machine learning. And this was kind of the same thing, right? So it was also that perspective of the customer who very often wants the solution that is more complex than his current infrastructure capabilities are, or the kind of the goals were defined in the wrong way, right? Because they were not focused on the business value.
So this is this one situation, right? When our client told us that, yeah, I want to invest in AI, and we've asked the data person in the company, do you really have a data warehouse to start working on it? And then they said, warehouse, no, maybe data grocery, right?
Yeah.
So you need to start from the basics. And Wojtek, as far as I remember, you're more on the management side.
Yeah, so I turned into, I mean, after consulting, I went into the software development company. But coming back to what you said, I think it's great experience that we had working with those big clients, because everybody thinks that they are super advanced because they are market leaders. So basically everything is set up there, which sometimes it is, because they have some areas when they really thrive, and that's what gives them the edge compared to other companies. But then sometimes when you look at different areas, they lack simple things. Like we said, this company that you mentioned, they wanted to go into AI, but they didn't have the basics, right? I remember one project that I was doing on a supply chain. So basically, there was this idea to optimize the whole supply chain, and it was an FMCG company, a leader on the market, and they've been doing this project already for some time. We came in and we said, like, okay, some standard questions. How many warehouses do you have in your network? And they were like, well, we don't know. And it's going to take a couple of days for us to take this from our business unit. And it seems like this is a very basic knowledge. Like this is, you
It
need to
should be
know.
already there, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere stored this information. So
But it's not. And sometimes it's this fresh view that you bring into the company, and you sometimes even take a look at those really simple things. They're crucial for the projects to succeed. And this is when you bring this fresh view into the company, and that's how you can make a difference whether a project succeeds or not. And it comes down also to the software development, I think, because after I came to the software development companies, they often doesn't think as a software delivery as a process, that there are certain things that you need to take care of, and that you need to think about management, not only about delivering the product. And this is how it is with data. There are many people like data scientists, data engineers, data leaders, that they think about solutions and they don't think about the business impact and how it affects the whole organization.
so it's like I remember, this management meetings when there is a meeting, and it's like, we've been investing in this data stuff for 2-3 years, and what is the ROI? And it's like, ROI? We deliver the solution, right? But this is also, I think, during our problem solving, how the value proposition of Nostre was born. So the value proposition is business first, then data. And it comes in line with what we've been saying here, how important it is to look at the data not only from the data perspective, but also from the business perspective. And when you merge these two words, ultimately you can receive the business impact. Any additional thoughts about the value proposition from your side?
Yeah, maybe it's kind of why we are called Nostra, because the name comes from Nostradamus. And first we thought
Who've guessed?
and first we thought about having a narrow specialty on forecasting, and that we want to predict the future for companies. But then when we started to talk to different people, it's not enough. They don't have the right architecture, infrastructure, they don't have the data strategy. And that's how we came to this holistic approach towards being data driven. And that's why we think all aspects of data and focusing on business value is important.
So one thing to back up what you just said about forecasting, I remember in my consulting days, one of the clients, and it's like top ONG player, the Fortune 500. They came to the consulting, technical consulting, asking for some advanced solution for forecasting engine to forecast all their costs in all their domains, all their departments, etc., etc. And when we came on the ground, we just started to, asking the very basic questions. Where do you store the data? How the data flows? What's the pipeline there? how is it automated, how often do you need to refresh the data and to provide the forecast. And what it turned out that this data was basically flowing in Excels, in emails, in a completely unstructured form, irregular form, irregular terms. You needed to, remind everyone to send you this aggregated cost data at the end of the month, etc., etc. So this sort of misunderstanding of what is really needed to really build such solution is, I think, where we can bring some value and we can close that gap before you even set up the technical team, before you even ask a data scientist to start prototyping, to start wasting his time. You need to plan ahead what's really needed to set it up properly and even think about working solutions.
So it's like turning the data management from cost to investment, right? So you actually have the strategy and
Yeah.
then ROI
But you have
afterwards.
to start with this Excel files, right?
Yeah.
We have this meme that the whole financial system is basically lies on Excel. Everything is done in Excel.
And it's
And
true.
it's
And it's
partially
true. It's
true.
not a meme.
Partially
It's just, yeah.
And you need to be aware that if you want to go to an AI solutions, you need to stop using Excel first.
Yes, this is the first thing, and I think that the very core of both Nostra and Value Ships, the value really lying behind both of the companies is that we want to democratize some of the knowledge that was previously only reserved to the big players with very big budgets, etc. It doesn't mean that we can't help both worlds, but actually at the core we want to democratize the knowledge. We around pricing strategy, you about actually turning the data into profits. So I think this can be a closing remark. Before we move on to the next session, let's give our audience a bit of an overview what this season Data Masters will be about.
Yeah, so basically, I think we want to base it on our offering, right? Because
Yeah.
we've got a couple of areas. This is data strategy, right, as a core. Then we have advanced analytics.
Yeah.
We want to focus on building data pipelines, BI solutions, and the whole architecture. And then we have all the AI solutions, the machine learning stuff as well. So we want to approach, I think, every topic.
Yes, so in general, this season will be touching these areas, but we want to have like a structured. We want to show you, take you on a journey, how to, why basically these projects fail. This is one question we want to answer, and then what can you do? How can you set up the data related projects for them not to fail, right? And then also when you're equipped with that knowledge, then you want to understand how to find a machine learning or data project use case in your company, how to differentiate between problems that you can apply machine learning for and you cannot, because nowadays it's all about Gen AI, ChatGPT, and applying it everywhere. But really we want to come back to the basics a little bit and show that with right infrastructure and right technologies tailored to the customer's needs, you can really get value without training a huge neural network model for $10 million, right?
So, if you want to learn how to turn data into profits, make sure to watch Data Masters by Nostre and see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe.